Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim, the truck's Daisy, and we're hauling paws. Today we've got some maintenance that we're doing and some repairs that we're doing. As you can see, I got some air conditioning problems going on. That's not the focus of this video. I think I figured out what that problem is. But today's video, we're talking about the manual hubs on the Super Duties and how they get stuck and you can't turn them. So let me show you. So the Super Duties have a manual lockout so that you can have it in automatic, but you can also flip it manually. And a lot of times I like to flip it manually. And if you have a problem with the vacuum operation of your auto lockout, you can come out here and flip this little thing and lock it in manually. The problem that I have right now is that it won't turn. Corrosion gets built up in here and you got to take it apart and clean that up. So I'm going to show you what it takes to get this thing apart and fix this so that it moves freely. Now, if you have the style of wheels that have a center cap, you won't even have to take off your wheel. But on mine, I have to take off the wheel. But on the ones that have the center cap, you just loosen up your lug nut, pop off your center cap, and then you can get at the lockout hub. But with this one, I can't do it. Even if I pop this ring out, there's still not enough room to get to the bolts that take it out and be able to get that lockout hub out. Now, on the older ones, like my 7.3, there was just a snap ring that held the lockout in. This one has 3 Allen bolts in here that you have to be really careful with, otherwise you'll snap them off. So I'll show you a trick with that. And then also, if you do snap it off, they've actually got it built in so that you can sort of fix it yourself. So don't freak out if you snap one of those off. But I got to get this wheel off, so I'm going to get it jacked up and get the wheel off, and then we'll attack that hub. So it's a little loud in here because I got the heater going, but now you can see the corrosion a little bit better, and then this won't turn. So we've got to get this out. But these are in with Loctite, so you have to be very careful you don't snap those off. Now, if you do snap them off, there's actually another set of holes that are here. So you can rotate this just a little bit to get it lined up, and then put a new bolt. You'll have to go get a new bolt. But you put a new bolt in the 3 locations. When I get this off, you'll see that there's actually 2 ways you can put it on. It doesn't matter which way it goes on. So what you want to do is you want to take a little torch like this and you want to heat the heads of these things up. Put some heat into them. But it needs to be something that has a little pinpoint torch thing so that you can just put heat into the bolt and get that bolt warmed up really good. You don't want to overheat it, but you want to put some heat into it. And what that does is it melts the Loctite. So you put some heat into the bolt and let that heat travel down into the threads. And that will loosen up the Loctite so that you can get these things out without snapping them off. I've got these other 2 out. I've been heating that for a little bit. And we'll get it in there. Yep. And it comes out no problem. It's a little warm. You can see, whoop, you can see the Loctite on it. Now you want to get yourself a pair of pliers and a rag and grab a hold of this and get it coming out. Can't do it with one hand. And you're going to get a little screwdriver right in the back here when you get a gap and start helping it out. now we gotta take it apart. So according to Ford, this unit is non-serviceable. If you got a problem with it, you just throw it away and put a new one in. But I'm cheap and I'm a rebel.
You rebel scum.
So I'm gonna see what I can do. The problem that we're gonna run into is these little clips, they all have to be pulled up at the same time in order to release this front piece. So I've got, and there's no way to do that. So I've got a little secret here that will probably help. And all you need, I think, is a little nail. Well, actually a lot of little nails. But stick it in there. See if this will work. Pry up on it a little bit. Stick that nail in there. All right, so let's see if you can see it. I've got that little nail underneath that tab, and now I just have to do that for each one of these and then see if it comes apart. Okay, so the thought process was sound, but the nails were too small to let it release, so I had to get to a little thicker nail, and I just about got this thing done. It's already starting to pop, and I don't have all of the little tabbies released yet. There went another one. Oh, there it goes. And there is the front part. There it is. So it's still, I can barely move that thing. So we're going to take this apart and get this all lubed up, or maybe I'll just throw it in a vat of transmission fluid and get it seeped in there and then work it back and forth and get it freed up. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect this vacuum diaphragm right here. Make sure there's no rips that I can see. And then we're gonna clean it, lube it up with some light lithium, and put it back in, just the way it sits. I'm gonna remove the O-ring just to keep it safe, and then I'll clean this whole hub up with some mineral spirits or gasoline or something like that. Clean it all up, get it all nice and pretty, and then we'll put a light coating of we'll put a coating of light lithium in it, and then we should be okay. This isn't the one that I was really having trouble with. I was having trouble with the driver's side, but this vacuum diaphragm has to work in order for it to do its thing. Looks like it's okay. So we'll clean this all up without tearing anything else up, and then this goes and snaps back on, you're done. So now I gotta figure out how to get this apart. So I couldn't get them apart, so what I did is I filled them up with automatic transmission fluid, and I let them sit here until it starts coming out the bottom of that. That means that it's coming through where it's corroded together. And if you don't know, automatic transmission fluid has a whole lot more anti-corrosive and detergents in it than like motor oil or anything like that. So I'm going to soak it in the automatic transmission fluid and then work it back and forth, and then it'll get free. For the hubs, I found a little tub, put some diesel fuel in there, and then I put the hubs in there, agitate back and forth. You don't want to immerse them because of the vacuum diaphragm that's right here, so just agitate it, and then it'll start getting clean. Now, don't agitate your diesel fuel too much, because if you agitate it too much, then it'll get all pissed off. Well, after all that and the cleaning, you can see that this hub is actually broken. You can see that this gear is sideways and this one's straight across. This one won't unlock. This one free spools. And what has happened is there are little, let me get this. There are little tabs right here, little plastic tabs. Oh, that one's broken too. Okay. So that little plastic tab right there, that one's not broken. But this one is missing all of them except one of those little tabs. It's right there. And it's the only thing holding this gear up. And if that gear is sideways, then it won't unlock. Try to show you here. No unlock. But if I lift this gear up on this one side, this side, then it will unlock when it's nice and level. But when it cocks sideways, it locks that hub in. So this hub is actually locked all the time. Now on the other side of this, which is why I took these apart anyway, it is now I can turn it with my hand and not have to use pliers. The transmission fluid did work inside here, but the dang hubs are broken. So I'm gonna have to order a set of hubs. I guess it's better to get locked in than not be able to lock them. So there's that. And I don't think, or I don't know, if I put this cover back on, will it push down on that vacuum diaphragm enough to level that out? Because it does level out if you push down a little bit on that vacuum diaphragm. And if you do that, then it does rotate free. But I don't know if it is actually going to push enough down. So let's find out. That's all it takes to snap that back on. Oh, and it does rotate free. So, I'll be okay for a little bit. Now that I've got these parts straightened out. But I'm still gonna have to buy a set of hubs. Now I'll stick them back in. And then I gotta worry about my air conditioning. Now, this silver area you want to clean really good because that's where the O-ring rides, right inside there. So make sure it's clean and it doesn't have anything that's going to mess up your vacuum. And then you can see here now there's multiple holes and they're already pre-tapped for bolts, so if you break one off you can rotate it and then put a new bolt in here and there and there, or in 3 spots, whatever. You also have to watch out when you're putting it in. Let's see, where's it at? Right there. That pin has to go in one of those holes. So make sure that you get that pin in there. If you get it cockeyed, then you'll mess up that pin and then the hub will rotate. You don't want that to happen. Don't over tighten these bolts, just snug them down. You don't want to snap them off. Double check the engage. And disengage. And then do the other side. So that's it. Got it all put together. And now my hubs can actually lock and unlock. I'll still have to get new hubs eventually, but at least now they'll be able to work when I need them to work. So if you got something good out of this video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And as always, have safe travels, and I hope to see you on the road.